Welcome into this week's edition of the Recruiting Roundup powered by Rock and Refuel. As always, Scout.com's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. We bring you the latest in Arizona high school football recruiting and do so year-round. And what an interesting week it was this past week. A week ago at this time, Jason, Davis Parrott, the Mountain Point offensive lineman, received his first offer, and you said, watch out, this kid is about to break out. Well, fast forward to today, he now has 7 offers.
Yeah, last week when we did the roundup, he was offered by San Diego State, and he was all fired up about getting that offer. Now, 7 offers later, now he got offered by Cal, got offered by Boise, offered by Nevada, Colorado State, South Dakota State, and the University of New Mexico. He is completely blown up. Seems a little bit overwhelmed when I talked to him on Friday because of just the attention. He didn't think he was ever going to get an offer, and now he ends up with 7. Told me, though, that Cal stands out to him right now as his very, very early leader.
Nick Carmen, his teammate, is someone that blew up a little bit before him. He continues to bring in offers alongside his buddy Parrott.
Yeah, some of the same schools that offered Parrott also offered Carmen. Boise State is one, Nevada is the other. It's crazy to think now that Nick Carmen has 18 offers when 6 months ago he has 0.
Couple Saguaro guys. I was out at Saguaro for the first time this season last week. They look phenomenal. They have some monsters, and 2 of their underclassmen picked up pretty substantial offers last week.
Yeah, Saguaro has the top prospect in this class in Christian Kirk, and looks like they'll have the top in the next 2 classes in Byron Murphy, who was offered by Tennessee, and then big offensive guard Caden Lyles, just a sophomore, was offered by Cal.
And you mentioned Jim Mora, Todd Graham were out at the game watching them last week, and Jim Mora looks at Byron Murphy with a pretty high regard.
Yeah, Jason Mons sent me a text message and said that Mora told him that he thinks that Murphy will end up being his top overall prospect in their class.
There's a couple more offers to get to, Jason. 2 more offers that happened around the state of Arizona over the last week.
Yeah, 2 players that I really like that don't get a ton of attention. Heath Moats, way out at Thatcher, was offered by Mount Union, which is a Division III power. And then Tristan Decker, the safety at Sunrise Mountain, was offered by Arizona Christian after he had a huge performance, took a 100-yard interception back to the house for a touchdown.
Yeah, Tristan Decker looks fantastic. Sunrise Mountain beat Cactus for the first time in the school's history last week. Congrats to the Mustangs. Now looking back at last week, Jason, our player of the week here on the Recruiting Roundup, Arizona Lutheran's running back / defensive back had one heck of a week last week.
Yeah, Jesse Zwick went off. 352 yards rushing with 6 touchdowns just on offense alone. Then on the defense side of the ball, he took an interception to the house and he had double-digit tackles, recorded 10 tackles. What a great game. We don't spotlight enough small school players, but this kid had a tremendous week.
Now it's that time on the show where we like to talk about our breakout prospects from what Jason and I saw from the week prior. I was out at Saguaro High School last week. We talk about Christian Kirk and Byron Murphy and Corey Lyles and Caden Lyles, but one guy that you cannot sleep on the Saguaro team is Cameron Koutsalis. He is a flat football player, runs great routes from the wide receiver position, and is really a threat for Corey Lyles on the outside. He's definitely someone that is easy to sleep on when you think about the other athletes on the team, but if you do, you're going to be in trouble, just like Apache Junction saw last week.
The game I was at, I saw the great game, Chandler versus Mountain Point, and there's so many athletes, it's hard to pinpoint one guy, but there's one young safety at Mountain Point that I really like, Isaiah Polomau, only a sophomore. He's got the length, he's 6'3", weighs about 180 pounds right now, so he's going to be able to play deep safety at the next level. He intercepted Bryce Perkins in this game. He also is very tough in the run game, and I think he's a guy that ends up being a high-level prospect when his time comes.
Now, Jason, we're running out of time. A lot more recruiting news this week. We'll only talk about one game ahead, but there's some great games on the docket. Centennial Liberty, Mountain Point Hamilton, Chaparral Red Mountain, and you also look at Marcos against South Point. But the game that we're going to talk about, a very intriguing matchup, 2 teams out to prove something right now. Campo Verde going up against Highland.
Yeah, great game. Campo Verde coming off of 2 very close losses to Gilbert and to South Point. Highland, who's 3-1. Good looking to battle East Valley battle out there, but the running game is going to be the key matchup in that one. Josh Chadwick from Highland, he had just a couple weeks ago rushed for 250 yards and had 5 touchdowns. And Zach Wheeler is Campo Verde's leading rusher, 266 yards and 6 touchdowns this year. So if you like running games, this will be a good one to go to.
That's it for this week's edition of the Recruiting Roundup, powered by Rock and Refuel. Scout.com's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen on Sports360AZ.com.